I'm also curious, what's your view about dogmatic approach to teaching some of these ancient methods? Because I used to do qi-gong for 3 years, for example. I was training in London with a Chinese guy, who was considered this great master of Tai Chi. And my approach was, he would tell us what to do, and I would be always curious, why do we do certain things in specific ways? Because then I would go to a different class and the teacher would tell you something completely different, do this position in a different way. And he would never tell us why specific approach, the approach he was using, what was the mechanism behind it, like he would just tell you, do what I tell you because I'm the master. So I think you talk about this stuff, how everything evolves, right? So these practices are all created by humans, and then in a way you need to adapt, you need to experiment to make things better, to make things more appropriate for different types of people, for different circumstances. Do you see a lot of this kind of approach in yoga, like the dogmatic, way of teaching, like this is exactly how you have to do things, and because whatever, someone else was teaching me this way. What's your kind of view about this whole thing?
When I started into yoga, yoga felt very dogmatic to me. And as a beginner, you don't tend to ask so many questions because it's all so new. So you're trying to figure out, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing, and the why isn't really there. As I teach, and as I teach my students to become teachers and also teach, I tell them the why, or the intention, is the most important thing. And so if you give an alignment cue, like let's say reach the arms up overhead, or bring the shoulders up towards the ears, or bring the shoulders away from the ears, there's an intention behind why you do that. And if you don't understand that intention, then you shouldn't be giving that cue. Yoga is full of dogma that things should be this way because whoever taught it like this. And it kind of goes back culturally. You have a guru and you don't question your guru. I don't believe that. I'm not a guru worshiper. I do respect gurus, especially the ones that are really filled with knowledge and stuff. But a true teacher, first of all, the word guru means remover of darkness,
Mm.
and ultimately, what a teacher should do is to enlighten you, or bring light upon, is to reveal the truth of what's going on. And if a teacher is telling you to do something without telling you what's going on, then they're not doing their job as a teacher. We the way that I teach, because I love qigong. I've been practicing qigong for about 11 years. I still don't really understand it. I'd say the most I understand about qigong is that your energy goes where the intention goes, and
Mm.
and that's an important part of understanding it. I mean, I know the different types of practices, but I'm not a qigong teacher because I don't understand the deeper levels behind it. But with yoga, I do, or at least I think I do at this point. As we grow and we learn, we think we know, and then as we look back, we realize that we don't. But at this point, I kind of feel like I understand what's going on, especially physically, what's happening through the body. And the body is pretty simple to understand as far as the movement goes, because it's all the muscles, they attach one bone to another, kind of. That's not really a great definition, but they work to articulate the joints. And so you can see where one muscle goes to one attachment, and then to another, or the origin and the insertion, and you could see how it pulls together and how they work together, and then how they work together through a full line, and how that creates tension or strength. And so using that understanding of anatomy, I could tell a student, let's say if we're talking about wild thing. Well, wild thing is kind of one of these postures that's a little bit of a back bend, it's a little bit of a twist, it's a little bit of a side bend, and it's not really good at any of these things, but it kind of works through all of them. So if I have a specific intention in the class, let's say I'm wanting to work through the lateral line, which is working down the intercostals, obliques, down the side of the leg, then I could actually understand what I want to do with the body to tune it. And so I work through a system that I call myofascial tuning, which is just like if you tune a guitar by turning the machine head or the tuning knob at the top, you can make the string tighter or looser. And ultimately, when we're looking for balance in the body, if I'm looking to balance the right side or the left side, I'm looking to make one side tighter or looser, or both that way, so that I have this balance of tension and compression through that. So I could say, okay, lateral line, well, if I externally rotate my arm, I'm going to get more latissimus dorsi. And latissimus dorsi is going to go down to the opposite glute or contralaterally. And so that's going to work through the functional line, which is a different line of tension and compression. But I want the lateral line, so I want to actually remove latissimus dorsi out of that so I can get more into the intercostals and to the obliques. So I'm going to say internal rotation. And having this understanding of anatomy and this understanding of movement, anything that I say with the hands or the feet or the arms, I understand what the effect is. And so there's a cause and effect through movement. And that gives me the alignment of the posture. Because my ultimate goal is alignment, overall holistic alignment or postural alignment, it's really easy to understand what I want the pose to do, not working towards a shape. Anytime you work towards creating a shape, unless it's for aesthetic purposes, like in arm balancing, it's dogmatic. In hand balancing, I approach it completely different, because hand balancing is a performance sport. It's different than yoga. Yoga is about working on the inside and creating a holistic balance to the body, where hand balancing it's about creating an aesthetic beauty that people could admire. And also, I mean, for me, hand balancing does the same thing that yoga does, but I might approach it a little bit different because I'm looking towards creating these pretty shapes. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to understand, what is my intention through this? And once you have that, the dogma essentially goes away.